So welcome to Senior Housing Forum and our Empower Women in Senior Living initiative, and I'm so honored today to welcome Amy Davis. Amy is, as she said, has many titles, but I think her dad, if he were here today, would be really proud to say she's his right arm and COO to his CEO of their mansions communities. And what's so important in our conversation today with Amy is I really want her to share with you today the difference she's making in the perspective she's bringing. And what I'm excited about, Amy, is that when we look at the majority of caregivers that are coming into senior housing, they really are your millennials. And maybe you could speak to sort of how you got started in senior housing and what that was like with your dad bringing you into the company.
Yeah, I started out really young. Obviously, I grew up around it. It was the dinner talk, always at the table, hearing about his day. So it was, kind of grew up around it, basically hearing it from the beginning. He encouraged me really early on to get started, and I just kind of became a natural at it. I started in housekeeping, worked in front desk, dining, got to kind of try it all. So I have a lot of respect for all the different positions, and I realize how tough a lot of the positions are. So that was really cool and a really neat way to learn it. And then from there, I kind of went out on my own, went to college, did a couple different things. I didn't want to be the person who just went straight to their family's company. I wanted to do it all on my own. And then after a while, I just kind of felt the call back, and I ended up right back with my family. And ever since, it's just felt like very natural. It's felt like where I'm supposed to be. I have had jobs before where I didn't get up, love going to work, and I absolutely love it. I probably am a workaholic now because I love it so much, and I love the things we're doing. So it's been really cool to get involved with my family and be able to just keep seeing where we can go.
When you think about, we're a 365, 24/7 business. So when you think about the people out there that may not have a family that could help bring them up, and what are some of the ways in which you're identifying talent on your workforce team and how you're developing them and bringing them up?
I think it's tough. That's the biggest thing of how to interview correctly and find the right people. So a lot of what we've been really trying to do is think about what we're kind of missing, what we need, and finding those strengths. And then I've been trying to encourage us to kind of look outside the box at some of the untraditional ways to think about what might fit a role. So even if it's just your activities director, thinking about it a little differently. Maybe it's not that typical person who plans bingo, who plans, just fun little dance activities, but who really can be more of a concierge and do all these things for them. And so also looking at different types of people to fill those positions. So whether that's a millennial, whether that's, someone who's retired and wanting to get back into the business part-time, that doesn't really affect, what we're looking at. We just are trying to find the right people for the right job. And with that, I really encourage younger people constantly to get into senior living. It's not always the most appealing, or they don't always think about it as an option. And I think just talking about it a lot has really helped. I talk to my friends about it all the time. I talk to everyone I know about what I do. And I think I come across so passionate about it that it makes people be like, whoa, I kind of want to work there. Like, do you have any jobs available? And so
you said, yes, we have lots of jobs.
Yes, exactly. I'm like, you've got to get involved. It's such a cool thing. And I think just always talking about how helpful it feels, or how great you feel with what you're doing every day and how excited you are, just kind of sharing that enthusiasm and passion helps a lot. I think it really is attracting people, hopefully.
It starts there, that positivity. I mean, one of the things I loved about Amy, and what I want to share with the readers and the folks watching our video today, is Amy has brought her company, Mansions, into sponsoring us as an Empower initiative, but we've also invited her to be on the board because we want to make sure that this board is represented really with the future. What does the future of senior living leadership look like? And not somebody like me, which, as many of you know, with my gray hair. But Amy, could you speak to some of your hopes and dreams and goals as you either work with your dad, but what are some of your dreams that you might be able to fulfill in 10, 20 years, and what senior living may look like for you, and those out-of-the-box ideas? What are some of those ideas maybe?
I think getting a lot more younger people involved earlier. I don't see as many people my own age, as involved. I do when I come to these conferences and you see the vendors, but not necessarily in my day-to-day work. I don't really see them always applying. I don't see them when I'm interviewing. They're not necessarily always in the candidates. So I'd love to see that encourage and improve. Encourage the way we reach out to colleges and getting the kids involved younger. We just the other day had a girl who's been working, she was a laborer actually on our construction site, and I happened to just strike up a conversation with her, and she's now decided to go for construction management which is not a field you normally see a female getting involved in. And so that was really cool, and I was able to talk to her and I really encourage her, and that was cool to see just from us, having her work on site, and seeing the job. It was cool to see that. So I would love to see more of that. But also I think as the industry changes, we talk a lot about that here at the conferences. We talk about how it's going to change. And I think kind of almost disrupting ourselves, because we always talk about the disruptors and how we're going to get disrupted. And there are these people sitting in Silicon Valley trying to basically change the way we're going to do our business. And I think if we can get ahead of that and think of the ways ourselves, and then we already have the solutions to it, we don't get left behind, we don't get disrupted, and we still are a viable industry, because it's going to change a lot. So just sticking with the changes and constantly be thinking forward, but at the same time dealing with our issues that we have today. So it's kind of balancing all of that as well.
Well, one of the things I value about Amy, in our last conversation, we met in San Diego, and you brought a humility and a humbleness to our conversation. And I was honored when you said, Fara, I'd like to ask, and I'd like to ask you some ideas. So could you talk a little bit about what does it mean to be in a position of leadership, but also be vulnerable enough to ask for help? Some of the places you might go and people you've asked for help and mentorship.
Definitely, that's really important. I think I constantly have to remind myself I don't know everything. Working with your family, sometimes that's an interesting dynamic. You're trying to tell your dad what to do, and we have to kind of check each other. So it's kind of an interesting relationship. But I have really tried to reach out to the women in our company and the men, just trying to learn, trying to watch and listen a lot, make myself be quiet for a little bit and just see what they're doing and learn from them. I have some really awesome people in our company who have really taught me a lot, and it's been really cool to learn from them. But not only that, at these conferences, I have gotten a chance to meet really awesome people and listen to these panels and really embrace the knowledge and the experience they have and take that with my new ideas and try to bring forth stuff in our company that can not only make us a better company, but kind of make us more innovative and help us improve. I think one really cool thing that I've been able to experience is, I haven't been in this that long, it's only been, 5 years maybe, and I've had people in my company come to me, older people that I respect, people that have been in it much longer than I have, and they've said, we've seen you grow, we've seen you improve, we really think you have done amazing things, and we really, really are proud of you. And I don't think they understand how impactful that's been for me and how encouraging, and how that's helped with my confidence to continue to grow and to continue to speak up and be, just confident in what I'm doing. And so then you start to see that confidence overflow into what you tell people. And then all of a sudden, the next thing I know, I am making a suggestion for how we should change our building. And all of a sudden, that's someone listened and it's in the building. So it's really cool. And I encourage everyone to look at the people around you and tell them, I've seen you grow, I've seen you improve, because it does wonders, and it really has helped me grow even faster by people encouraging me. So I want to do that for others as well, keep encouraging them.
I think that is a huge statement around opportunity for us in leadership. Many of the folks that are going to look at this video today are soul searching for, how do I encourage my workforce? And, when I hear Amy say that it's free to give positive feedback. It's a free thing to give that pat on the back. And while it might sound cliche, you're hearing a leader that said how much it's taken her kind of be the wind beneath your wings. When you think about the future of cultivating, I wanted to kind of have you explain a little bit more, because you as a leader on the development side, construction side, and could you talk a little bit more about when you saw your construction worker and you identified, what were some of the things and the key aspects of her behavior that you identified that could be good for your company? And what were those things you were looking for in leadership?
I think I noticed pretty early on that she's she was very comfortable and very confident. So it was seeing that comfortability kind of in her environment already. So I knew she liked what she did. She was always happy, to be there. She was confident in her ability, so it was really easy to encourage her from there. She felt that she was doing a good job. She felt accepted. She felt like she had something to bring to the table, and that was a big deal. Noticing that, and encouraging that, to encourage her and say, yes, you do have something to bring to the table, and and keep going with that.
So that cross-referencing. So it sounds like as a leader, are you also looking and identifying, let's take maybe a caregiver or an executive director or a business office manager, and being able to say, you may be able to serve a role. Are you doing some of that in your communities as well for either new community development or growth in your own corporation? Do you have an example?
Yeah, I mean, we've want to get better at that. That's something that we're trying to improve a lot of, promoting from within, because it's really easy to have an idea of what you think should fit a candidate, and to go out and just look for that one versus looking inside, because sometimes not everyone speaks up, says that they'd be interested in growing, and I don't know if we're necessarily doing a good enough job yet to say, hey, who else wants to be involved in this? Who wants to improve? So that's one area that I really would like to improve, and telling people we do want to help you improve.
Well, I'm excited about Amy, and I'm hoping that the readers and listeners are going to give me some feedback, because I have an idea. Now I'm springing it on her right here, so we may end up editing it, but my hope is she's going to giggle and laugh. But where I'm excited, as sort of a senior leader, someone that's been in our business a long time, that I'm excited that Amy's going to bring new ideas. So I would hope that the readers and people watching are going to say, Fara, would you do an annual interview with Amy? Let's do this annual interview with Amy, because Amy, each and every year, you're going to keep growing and learning. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to have great achievements. And I believe that our Senior Housing Forum readers and listeners today will be really interested to say, let's see where Amy is next year. I know I've asked her if she's having a family, because I think that's an important issue for folks in leadership. How do they balance their personal lives and their professional lives? So I would imagine, as we have people sitting on the edge of their seat, where will Amy be next year? Where will Amy be in 5 years? Will you think about taking me up on that offer?
Yeah, I don't plan on going anywhere, so
well, we don't either.
It'll be interesting to see. Hopefully there's something to offer, some insight I have.
We can count on change, right?
Yeah, oh, for sure.
Is there anything that you'd want to say was sort of a secret tip that came to you across this evolution of going to college, coming back into your family business, and going, lo and behold, I had never considered whatever that is? What would that be?
Oh gosh, I just think that I've didn't consider all my strengths even from the beginning, and so I encourage everyone to. I found my strengths, and I'm finding new strengths every day, and finding my weaknesses and trying to turn them into strengths. So to really own your strengths and look at them, because I wasn't doing probably a strong enough job, and I still am trying to improve that, of constantly owning it and being proud of it instead of being, feeling like I'm bragging, being humble. So just own your strengths and stand up for it and say, hey, I know I can do this, and I want to do that, and see where it takes you.
I like that, and I think it's something that we see a lot. I know I have talked about this in other interviews. Folks know me. It took me till I was about 40, which is almost 20 years ago, before I started to raise my hand and ask for special problems, ask for problems that I could solve or challenges. And it sounds like, from your perspective, if I'm hearing you correctly, that you said, I can do this, I can tackle this. What would you say one of your biggest challenges that turned out to be an easier fix than you thought? Maybe on the construction side, or maybe on the operations side, you said, I'm going to tackle this. Could you tell us about that, or a time when you turned around a challenge?
I think it's been kind of tackling the family aspect, maybe, of trying to feel like I had to prove I belonged.
It almost sounds harder than
It's been tough, and I think I had to internally let go of that a little bit, because I was thinking people don't think I belong. People don't think I earned or deserved it, and so letting go of that, even if not the family aspect, but just in general, anything that you've achieved, not worrying about whether people think you earned it or you actually deserve it or not, just knowing it about yourself and knowing I know the hard work I put in, I know what I did, and just being proud of yourself. And so that's something I've tried to learn and try to grow with, and I'm still working on it, but.
Well, I remind leaders often, if someone's willing to give us millions of dollars to finance a building, and we then call it a community once our staff is hired, they then, they're staking their claim. So I'm hearing you talk about confidence and really starting with yourself. That's really what I'm hearing you say is important and was part of your journey to get to this moment.
Still part of it, yeah. Still working on that. It's a constant reassuring yourself.
Where's Mansions going? What does your future look like with the company? Are you building more communities? Where do you see the growth of Mansions?
Hopefully still growing, hopefully improving. We are kind of currently changing our model into a bigger campus, all different levels of care. So it's been a growth period for us. And I think with growth, going from a really small company to, we're still very small, but just the growing pains and working through that, and putting more systems in place and more opportunities for growth and training. And so working through all of that, all the policies and all of it, it's a lot of fun, but still being innovative and coming up with new ideas, but also managing the growth and the risk a little bit too. So that's kind of what we're struggling with and going through right now, and all the growing pains, the fun of that. So hopefully in 10 years we're still around, doing that.
We expect you to be around. We're going to find you.
Yes.
And it sounds like your dad better be put on notice. You might be recruited after this video.
I don't know. Yeah, it might be hard to get him to give me up.
Well, thank you, Senior Housing Forum listeners and readers, to our Empower initiative. We're so honored to have Amy with us today. Amy, how can folks find you on LinkedIn, and as well as your mansionscommunities.com? Is that right?
Mm-hmm. Yes, my LinkedIn, mansionseniorliving.com. You can always send me an email, adavis@mansionseniorliving.com. Just find me somehow.
I think you're going to have some inspired readers that are going to reach out to you as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Whew.